So that sound you hear at the beginning there is just the sound of the angle grinder I was using to cut the pieces. I didn't get a picture of the start because I did that the night before. I went over there because I wanted to. I knew I wasn't going to get it all done in one day, so I got a good start the night before. Then I came back the next day to finish the wall up. You can see the boards at the top there. I put those on when I was installing the foam to hold them on because I had issues with them coming off. So I did little pieces so I could take them off as I go up the wall. That larger piece there, I think it turned out to be almost a full one. Didn't even have to cut that one. That doesn't happen very often. It was like perfect. So I get that one nailed on there and keep going on up. It was a cold day, not windy, but nice and crisp. Snow, you can hear it crunching under my feet as I'm walking back and forth. So I was able to keep the siding inside there. There was a spot we kept it inside so it was warm. Otherwise I would have issues with it cracking. So having it warm when we bring it out, put it on, kept it from getting cracked or shattering when I cut it. The angle grinder also helps to use when you're cutting because it's not too aggressive. So it's kind of gentle when you're cutting. The full pieces, I kind of got to slide them in from the end a little bit so I can get the far end hooked in as well. Then I can get it nailed in and slide down. The foam that we used on there was 1.5 inches. So it added a nice R value and also keeps any wind from blowing through. Tape up the seams, the cracks, keep any of that air from getting through the sheets, and it made that old wall a lot warmer. No cracks or holes for the air to blow through. Just about at the top of the ladder there. It wasn't quite enough for me to extend it all the way, so I finished this rung and then flip it up. Brought a larger ladder too, one size bigger, but I didn't end up needing it because the wall's not really tall, crazy tall. It was like 16.5 feet to the eave, I think. So I was able to reach with that ladder. I think that ladder's like 12 feet or something. It'll extend out all the way. But right now I've just got it in the short A-frame mode. Measuring up that short little piece. Those ones are a little bit of a pain to put in because they can twist really easy, so you got to be careful not to pull up too hard on one end or the other when you're putting them in. Just kind of let them float in there almost, and the bigger ones hold it together. Yeah, I've got it extended now in the shortest extension it'll go. I realized I could have it a little bit higher, so I just popped it up one notch. This ladder's kind of neat for what I'm doing because at the very top there's a little angle brace. Holds my hammer perfect You can just sit it right in there and it won't just fall out. It's just the same width as the hammer head. Kind of put it on an angle and it holds it good. Once I get that end nailed, then I go grab my little impact driver, put 2 4-inch screws in each one of those boards. Put one kind of at the top, one kind of at the bottom. So I was just pulling those screws out. Makes it easy to remove it because that foam's not very sturdy. You can't really put a hammer on it and pry on it. So I will use screws instead to make it easier to remove them and get them off there. 4-inch screws might be overkill, but the foam's 1.5 inches thick, so I wanted to make sure I was getting through the board, through the foam, into some good wood in the wall. The 4-inch screws work good for that. So just removing that last one there, and then I think I capture two more strips, 2 more rows before it starts to go to the frame. The TV tower was a little bit tricky to work around, but it was close enough I could work all from the one side, basically just kind of reach over and get that last nail in it. At the end, you might notice there's a chain around the top of it. I had to remove some of the foam at the top to make sure I could find my stud. And we put some eye hooks at the top to hold the chain because we weren't sure if the fascia was the strongest spot for it to be bolted to, so the eye hooks give it a little more strength right into the stud. I did actually, about halfway through this clip, I had a heavy insulated coat on over top of my hoodie, and that got to be a little bit too warm, so I took it off. Because there wasn't very much wind, although it was like -8 or something out. When you're working and walking back and forth and stuff, you start to get up build a little bit of heat. I did have some insulated ski pants on over top of my jeans, so that helped to keep me warm too. Especially if you're kneeling down on the cold ground, your knees get real cold and you feel that in your legs. I'll just pop it up another notch here. This ladder is nice and light, so it's really easy to work with, really maneuverable. It's a Little Giant brand. Those ladders seem to be nice, user-friendly. This one's an older one I got, but it still works really well. It's I think it's one of the smallest multi-ladders you can get. So it's really, really versatile for smaller jobs like this. I thought I was going to be able to go one higher, but then I didn't know. I don't like having the ladder sitting on the very top row siding because it seems to pull down on it a little bit. And that's the one you're nailing the next piece to, so I like to stay below it a little give yourself some flexibility and keep the siding from getting twisted or misaligned. So I'm thinking this last piece here I'm putting on is probably only about 10 feet in the air actually. I still had another 5 feet, about 5 feet left, but it just went out of frame, so gives you the picture though what it looks like. This one I had just trim a couple inches off, a full piece, and slide it in there and nail it off. Then at the very end here, you'll see the clip of the final wall, and you can have a look at that TV tower and see if you see the little chains hooked on the wall. And now we got that all on there. Wall looks a little bit bigger with all the siding. You have no orientation, but looks nice.